The second night of NBL preseason action, and we're coming to you live from the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne's heartland, home of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Tom Hirsch is my name. Last night, the Sydney Kings kicked off preseason by travelling to Ulverston, Tasmania to take on the Jack Jumpers, and it was the Kings who held on for a 101-97 win behind new signings Matthew Dellavedova and Kendrick Davis, who each had 15 points. Delly also had 6 assists, Davis with 5 of his own. 7 Kings scored in double figures overall. While for the Jack Jumpers, import David Johnson had a strong showing with 18 points and 7 rebounds, going 6 of 8 from long range. But tonight, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix will take on the visiting Cairns Taipans, who've had a lot of pre-season buzz of late with some of their recent signings. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see most of them as they're not yet available. But for the Phoenix, the majority of their roster is suiting up tonight, and it will be a great opportunity to get a sense of how they'll play with a full pre-season under head coach Josh King. But before we dive in further, I'd like to introduce my co-commentator tonight, my good friend Jamie Hamilton. Jamie, welcome to SBC and NBL preseason basketball.
Thanks, Tom. That was it was different being on this side of the intro, but you smashed it. Absolutely nailed it. Your script worked out perfectly.
So let's talk about who is actually playing tonight for both teams. So we'll start with the visiting Cairns Taipans. It's obviously a roster that is not going to be what they look like when the regular season, even when the Blitz gets underway next week up in Canberra. They're obviously missing two of their headline players in Jack McVeigh and Rain Smith, who obviously just won the gold medal with the Boomers at the FIBA Asia Cup. But also none of their 3 imports, unfortunately, are with us tonight. And I'll talk, of course, of Admiral Schofield, Ashton Hagens, and Marcus Lee, who this league's very familiar with. The other player not available, the other big name, is Sam Wardenberg, who's been a star of this team for the last couple of seasons. He's coming off a heavy load playing in Puerto Rico in the off-season and just is being managed, so he hasn't made the trip down to Melbourne for these games. For the Phoenix, as we mentioned, pretty much a full roster. The only players that are missing tonight, Owen Foxwell, also on his way back from Saudi Arabia after Boomers action. Import John Brown, who's not yet in Melbourne, does arrive later this week, we're told. And Angus Glover, who's recovering from that AC joint, that shoulder injury. He's here tonight. He's actually going to join us in commentary for the second quarter, but won't be suiting up tonight.
Absolutely. A couple of big names, really looking forward to seeing them get on the floor when we get the chance in a couple of weeks, hopefully by the Blitz. But we're about to get underway. Starting 5s here for the Phoenix. Jordan Hunter, Vrenz Blyenberger, Kechalia, Nathan Sobey, and Hunter Maldonado. I'm going to get that one right correctly eventually.
Sobey gets stripped on the first play by Adnam.
Aggressive take by Higgins-Titcher. He's got 2 free throws. Cairns starting 5. Mawat Mag, Kyle Adnam, Higgins-Titcher, who's about to head to the line. Kyron Galloway and Cody Statman.
And both these teams like to push the pace. They're going to want to get up and down tonight, which should make for some fun action.
And just while we have this quick pause, overall, what are both of these teams looking for, not just in this game, but in the preseason as a whole? Specifically for the Taipans, who have a completely different lineup to what we saw in NBL 25.
Yeah, look, I spoke to Coach Adam Ford before the game tonight, and obviously the 5 players who are starting on the court there are all contracted for the Taipans this season. So for them, they're actually fighting for rotation minutes. We know Kyle Adnam, Alex Higgins-Titcher, and Kyron Galloway are most likely going to be part of 40's regular rotation as Kechalia with a beautiful baseline drive, and he's going to go to the free throw line for an extra. I believe that foul was on Galloway. But there are other players like newcomer Mawat Mag and obviously Cody Statman, who's been a DP in the past, who are fighting for rotation minutes. And, you know, this is a chance for them to show 40 what they can do in his system as they get some action underway. But for the guys that are going to come off the bench tonight, most of them are training players or guys who are, you know, vying to earn a permanent training role or even potentially be a DP. So it'll be a good chance for them to, again, show Adam Ford what could do. It's kind of a bit of a trial, and they've done that concept in the past. They had some open scrimmages in years past where they actually found rostered players, including AHT, who's playing tonight. But so tonight is a bit of a trial for some of those youngsters as well.
Mag, aggressive to the ring, no good, but the foul called on the putback. Pair of free throws coming here as Blyenberg gets called for the foul from behind. Cody Statman to the line. Just the 3 games last year for Cody Statman. But played for the Cairns Marlins in the NBL1 North. In the last game of the season, 48 points and 10 boards. So, well, it's not Statman, excuse me. I was too busy looking at my notes.
That was Mawat Mag, who played at BYU last year. First year as a professional now.
Another guy I can't wait to watch. Just gave a shout out to Statman because he's a good player and he deserves it. Tied up at 3 apiece. Hunter, lovely pass to Sobey. Extra one to Aaliyah in the corner. No good.
Sobey almost ends up in the canteen.
Crashes into Rowan Short down there on the baseline. There's Statman. No good off the back iron, but another chance here off the Higgins-Titcher rebound. 5 on the shot clock, so Adnam has to launch the deep 2 and gets it to go.
Can't give Adnam that kind of space. Been doing it for too long. And really nice for Adam Ford to have Adnam back this year for some continuity. And last year did some great work helping Taron Armstrong develop his game. And this year he's probably going to help the likes of Higgins-Titcher and young Rain Smith once he gets in town.
Pair of free throws coming here for Maldonado. I cannot wait to watch Rain Smith in the flesh. He had that reputation about him. We knew about, what he did at Louisville and what he did at Rutgers prior, but lit the world on fire at the Asia Cup.
Yeah, 9 points a game at the Asia Cup. Hit 10 threes in all across their 6 games. 18 points against Lebanon. He had 15 points against Qatar, those in the pool rounds. Very strong showing for that young man.
2 minutes gone in this opening quarter. Phoenix lead by 1 point. Galloway with the 3. That's no good. He's struggling to find his feet. We're going to have a quick pause to mop up a bit of precipitation. It is warm in here in the State Basketball Centre.
Well, Kyron Galloway also went flying across the floor.
He did. So for the Phoenix, the first full preseason with Josh King at the helm, we know his reputation as a defensive-minded coach, and it's pretty clear he's gone a defensive focus for his squad for NBL26. Are there any standouts that you're looking at or any kind of really exciting pieces that you're looking forward to seeing in the flesh?
Well, I actually was lucky enough to go down and watch the Phoenix practice on Friday, and they had an open scrimmage of basically their contracted players versus their training players. So I got a good look at Hunter Maldonado, who's on the floor now, as well as Vrenz Bleinberg, 2 of their new imports this season. And I can tell you right away, Bleinberg is a very interesting player, probably something we haven't really seen much of in the NBL. He's 6'10", but can play 1 through 4, and I do mean 1 through 4 legitimately. He's an amazing passer. He's got a solid shot, and he's obviously extremely long defensively as well. And then Hunter Maldonado is just a baller. He does a little bit of everything. He's a very strong on-ball defender. He can play 1 through 3, offensively. He's given me a little bit of Trey Kell type vibes.
Okay.
Not saying he's necessarily going to be as strong as Kell was last year, but you see that impact right there. But he gives me those sorts of vibes in terms of how he plays, like a bigger-bodied guard who can really put pressure on opponents but can also get his own when he needs to. And he's going to be a really nice piece for Josh King to have at his disposal this season. He can put him into a number of different positions. But I think the biggest thing about the way this roster is constructed is Statman with a really nice drive there for Cairns, and they extend their lead 10-6 right now. The biggest thing with this Phoenix roster is they've got so much versatility that they don't have people playing traditional positions. And that's kind of a key focus of Josh King. He likes to have that at his disposal. He doesn't want to box people into certain roles and certain positions. We know Sobey can play 1 and 2 and maybe a little bit of small 3 if he needs to. As I said, Bleinberg and Maldonado, a lot of versatility. Guys like Angus Glover can play 1 through 3. Foxy can play 1 or 2. Akecha Lear can play 4 or 5. So there's really a lot of interesting pieces at his disposal for the Phoenix this season. And we've got a timeout here to Adam Ford.
6:13 left in his opening quarter. 9 plays 10. Still the Taipans with the lead. Just extending on that, this positionless style, this kind of defense focus that, you know, Josh King's reputation kind of holds. The prevailing question throughout the media and kind of the chatter online is who's going to score for this team? Where are the points going to come from? My opinion on that is the easiest way to score points is transition defense, forcing steals and turnovers. Is that how you see it as well?
I mean, that's going to be a big part of their game because Josh wants them to be disruptive. They're long at most positions. Maybe not in their backcourt so much, but across the wings and up front, they're very long. And so they want to be disruptive and they want to get out and you know, turn defense into offense as much as they possibly can. But, you know, you've still got Nathan Sobey as one of your primary focal points on offense.
Yep.
I know his scoring was down a little bit last year from where he was in his last couple of seasons with Brisbane, down around that 17, 18-point mark as opposed to over 20. It was his first season in a new club. They had a coaching change a little bit into the season. I expect Sobes to be back probably closer to that 19 to 20-point mark this season. But you've got other guys like Maldonado, Foxwell, who's really improved, Angus Glover, who can get hot sometimes. And I think we're going to see Vrenz Bleinberg have a really nice impact offensively, and he's probably going to surprise some people with what he can do.
Back underway here. Taipans with the ball. Higgins-Titcher with 6 on the clock. Gets aggressive, but it's no good. Mitchell pulls down the board. He's just checked in, as has Gorjok Gak.
And Dan Foster as well.
Dan Foster. A couple of subs in for the Taipans as well. The first 3-ball of the game goes to Maldonado. Gives the Phoenix an early lead as well. 12 plays 10. Adnam finds a bit of space. Short on the 3. Mitchell back in the NBL after spending last season in Europe, and he's got that European touch.
So it's a 9-0 run right now on the back of 3 straight triples for the Phoenix. Bleinberg, Maldonado, and now Mitchell.
That's a good way to get your scoring up. Statman can't respond. Can the Phoenix continue this momentum? Bleinberg had a whole lot of space and knows how to use it. 4
straight triples. So we've got a foul on Maldonado. He goes to help up Kyle Adnam. And we're going to get our first look at Malik Lewis, who's back for year 2 as a next star. He's going to replace Bleinberg. Whereas for the Cairns Taipans, Lockie Barker, Kian Dennis, and Lloyd McVeigh, the younger brother of Jack McVeigh, have all just checked in for Adam Ford.
Lloyd McVeigh, a development player this year for the Taipans. And a really good year in the NBL 1 Central with the West Adelaide Bearcats.
Not confirmed yet as a DP, mind you. It's not official yet. He's still trialling for one of those spots.
There he is, finds Dennis. Aggressive take from Mag.
I'm starting to get a sense of what that young man's about. Know what, Mag is just signed a 2-year deal in the off-season. His first professional contract was with BYU last year. Spent 1 year there after 4 years at Rutgers, and as a senior last year, he averaged just about 6 points and 2 boards a game off the bench. Started some of those games, played about 20 minutes a game for BYU. Hit nearly 40% from 3-ball for Brigham Young last season, 39.7%. So can shoot as well.
Well, Adam Ford said in the media over the last couple of days that he was most excited about what he can do on the defensive end. So if that's what he can do on the offense, can't wait to watch him. Gets the first free throw to go. Cuts off that run. Helped BYU to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 14 years. This past March.
No full court pressure here from the Taipans.
Lewis with ball handling duty. Didn't see him do that a whole lot last year, so just expanding his game a little bit. Mitchell gets aggressive, and he's looked good in his return to the NBL.
DJ, of course, the son of Mike Mitchell, who was a high-flying import a couple of decades ago for the old Gold Coast Rollers, amongst other teams.
That's before my time.
Showing my age, as I usually do.
Galloway short from the corner. Just wanted it more, got it right back. McVeigh drops the shoulder, gets called for the offensive foul.
Solid D from Sobey.
Don't think Adam Ford fully agreed with that call. 3.5 minutes left. It's a 6-point lead to the Phoenix.
Here's Dan Foster with the ball, a young man who you and I got a good look at in NBL1 action a little while ago, playing for the Keilor Thunder.
Looked real good.
Foster came back from Nevada after 5 years with the Wolfpack over there.
Mitchell, no good. Offensive rebound goes to Gorjok Gak. Good ball movement here by the Phoenix. Lewis with the three. That one's just off. Gak with another offensive rebound and gets rewarded for the hard work.
And that's what Gak will bring to this team, playing backup 5-man minutes behind Geordie Hunter. He just works hard. He'll crash the O-boards. He'll protect the paint, and he'll finish around the rim. Just very solid in those aspects of his game. And he can extend the floor from three-point range on occasion too. Not a big focal point of his game, but he does have that range.
Being a threat is more important than anything else. Speak of the devil, say his name and he appears. Gak, no good for three.
Almost made me look good.
Ball was out of bounds. Taipans ball.
Jed Richardson checking in for the first time for the Cairns Taipans, wearing number 50. 21-year-old. Played for the Northside Wizards the last 3 years in the NBL1 North.
Lockie Barker in as well for Cairns. Man who NBL fans will be quite familiar with.
Of course, he was with the Jack Jumpers the last 2 years, including that championship team. It was a great dump off there to Cody Statman for the two-handed flush.
Down to the final 2 minutes now of quarter number one. Gak rolls to the ring, finishes through the contact. Gak has looked a bit of a threat in this opening term.
Foul's gone against Dennis. His first.
Higgins-Titcher checking back in. Geordie Hunter ready to replace Gak after this bonus free throw. An area of his game that is not the strongest is the charity stripe, but that's why I say that, because it's the reverse commentator's curse. He heads to the bench, as does Mitchell. Hunter's back in, along with Akechalia.
A reminder, we're going to be joined in commentary for the second quarter by Phoenix player Angus Glover. Unavailable tonight due to injury. Of course, Glover was part of the Boomers squad ahead of the FIBA Asia Cup and probably would have been on that plane if not for that injury. Definitely cheered on his mate Owen Foxwell, who helped them bring home the gold.
Always fun to talk to Glover.
Yeah, Glover will come and have a chat with us about how this team's shaping up and where he's at with his recovery.
Foul called in transition, but that's bonus free throws to the Phoenix.
You see Dan Foster there, number 11 for the Phoenix. Young man, as I mentioned, has come back from playing college with Nevada. He's a big guard, 24 years old. Just turned 24 on Saturday, actually. Happy birthday to Dan. 6'6" as a guard, and he weighs just shy of 100 kilos. So this comes in about 98 kilos. So he's a big body for a guard, and he's a combo guard. He can play point, he can play two. Smart player. Played under Steve Alford at Nevada. And fun fact, his brother Matthew works in the Southeast Melbourne front office. He is one of the founding members of the front office here at the Phoenix.
Sloppy turnover by the Taipans, and Foster. He said he was a big man, the big feet stepping on the sideline.
For Keilor this year in the NBL1,
he put up numbers.
18 points, 8.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, nearly 2 steals a game.
That's a whole lot of points.
Yep. 30, just shy of 37% from 3, so inside, outside game 2. He's a very exciting young prospect.
Geordie Hunter, the lucky break on that long pass. It'll stay with the Phoenix on their baseline, actually. So 19 seconds on the shot clock. 75 seconds left in this opening term. Pre-season hoops here as we get set for NBL26 tipping off in a couple of weeks. Lewis gets aggressive. Speaking of big guards, he's got a pair of free throws coming his way.
Malik Lewis, we know, had originally planned to enter the draft this year, the NBA draft, but withdrew his name along the way. He did go over to the States for a number of workouts and decided he was better off coming back for another year as a next star. He was a projected late second-round pick at one point. And speaking to Josh King last week at their practice, he actually still believes that if Lewis had kept his name in the draft, he would have been picked. But I think he's trying to improve his stock by having a stronger showing this year in the NBL. Of course, last year in his first year, he started 21 of their 34 games, including the playoffs. He averaged just shy of 7 points and 4 rebounds a game. Needs to improve his 3-ball a little bit. Shot about 31% from long range last season.
He misses the back end of the free throws as well. Here's Barker. Lets the defender go by and knocks down the mid-range J.
Seen that up fake once or twice before in Lucky Barker's career.
Sit on a weekly basis in the NBL 1 South, that's for sure. Of course, with the Northwest Tassie Thunder, who hosted last night's preseason game as well. Sobey with the turnover. Corner 3 goes up. It's no good. Lewis and Higgins-Titcher fight for it. It goes the way of the Phoenix. And Lewis all the way to the ring. Can't get it to roll. But he's got a pair of free throws.
Probably a little upset with himself that he didn't finish that one. But good strong take. And you see how effortless it is at times for Malik Lewis to get all the way to the rim. And definitely a point of emphasis for him this season is to continue to put heat on the rim whenever he has a chance, especially in transition.
So what are you hoping to see out of him this year? I guess obviously growing from last season and with the clear goal of being drafted into the NBA, which he most likely will. But what does he need to do more of, or what does he need to expand or add to his game other than the 3-ball that you just said to increase those stocks?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I mean, the shooting is going to be a big part of it, to be honest. And he needs to improve not just at the three-point line, but at the free throw line as well. He was 65% from the free throw line last season. You saw him go 1 out of 2 on that trip just then. But I think it's being able to be a real dog defensively and guard multiple positions. He is a big body for a wing. You know, he can legitimately guard 2 through 4, possibly even 1 through 4. So he needs to prove that he can be a consistent stopper defensively, and he needs to be more consistent offensively in terms of his production. You know, and that's hard for a young player. We know that's, you know, we know how young he still is at, you know, just 20 years of age.
Yep.
But with another year under his belt in a professional environment, and of course last year was not his first. Obviously, he's with the G League Ignite the year before. So this is kind of year 3 for him in a professional environment. You want to see that consistency start to come to the fore a little bit more, where you know he's going to go out there and give you 10, 12 points every night and erupt for 16 to 20 a couple of times a season as well, maybe. But just make sure you can rely on him to have an impact on both ends of the floor each and every night.
Alir to beat the buzzer just off to the right. And at quarter time, it's a 10-point lead to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. 29 plays 19. And pretty much what we would have, maybe not on the scoreboard side of things, what we would have expected, but the scoreboard is almost irrelevant in this game. We've seen the majority of the players, if not every player, almost every player, at least for the Taipans, every player for the Taipans, and all but a couple for the Phoenix take the floor so far. I guess both of these teams, like we mentioned, are looking at different things or trying to get different things from out of this game, whereas the Phoenix have pretty much they have their roster set. They have a good chunk of their guys here suiting up, playing in this one. So for Josh King, would it be more about, seeing what you can get out of some of these guys that maybe aren't going to get minutes, or is it more about fine-tuning, figuring out rotations, kind of chinks in the armour type things?
I think it's more the latter. As Josh said to me pre-game tonight, he's just excited to see them play against someone else who is not themselves, basically, right?
That was the general consensus.
They've obviously been in practice, and they've had some intra-club scrimmage games, as I mentioned. It's their first time against another NBL opponent tonight, so it's a chance to test their system. He's going to see what sort of combinations and rotations work, and obviously they'll add Owen Foxwell and John Brown and Angus Glover back to the mix at some point. But it's a good chance for some of these guys as well, some of the newer guys that weren't here last year, to get some familiarity and some rhythm with each other. How does Hunter Maldonado work pick and roll with Geordie Hunter, for example? I saw last week in their scrimmage Blindberg and Hunter working really well together. How does DJ Mitchell and Akecha Lear integrate into this system, into this offense? So this is a chance to get more reps more than anything, to be honest.
And for the Taipans, of course, a couple of guys still fighting for roster spots in this game. How we rated some of these players that aren't set in terms of location for NBL26 so far. Lockie Barker, Jed Richardson we saw for a little bit. How have we rated them so far?
I mean, it's a bit hard to say after one quarter, but, we know what Lockie Barker's about. And, he's someone that Adam Ford's looking at as like, potential injury replacement at that point guard position to give them a little bit more depth. Here's young Austin Shelley with a really nice take to the basket, and he's someone that could potentially have an impact. But, yeah, I mean, I think some of these guys are fighting. It's a bit too early to say exactly what they'd be able to give at this level. But we'll find out as this night goes on. But it's our pleasure to welcome to the call now for the second quarter Angus Glover, a man who needs no introduction for the Heartland faithful. Obviously a two-time NBL champion when he was with the Sydney Kings. He's in his second year with the Phoenix now. Unfortunately not able to suit up tonight due to a shoulder injury sustained at Boomers Camp. But, Glove, you've been around these guys for a couple of weeks now since you've been back from Boomers Camp, and you're getting to know some of your new imports in Hunter Maldonado and Friends Blindberg. Let's maybe start there. What can you tell me about those two guys and what they're likely to bring for you for the Phoenix this season?
Yeah, they're top blokes. Yeah, they're top blokes. There we go. Is it on? Working?
Yeah.
There we go. They're top blokes. Just first and foremost, good people. I think that's a big part of the culture, and obviously they fit in really well already. But yeah, as you can see, both getting after it offensively, defensively. The way Josh wants to play, I think we've got some incredible imports. And
it's obviously the first full season under Josh King. He came in midway through last season, so you've got a full pre-season under him with his system. How has that kind of been different from your perspective so far? And I guess giving you guys real clarity around what this team wants to look like and how they want to play this season.
Yeah, I think anyone that obviously saw it last year, we played very fast-paced game, get up the floor. Not too much has changed, just obviously getting the guys up and down the last couple of weeks, getting used to the physicality and all that kind of stuff, the way we want to play. It's been frustrating to watch. I want to be out there with the guys and be a part of it. But it's, the guys have set the building blocks, and, to have Josh here for a pre-season, obviously he came in midway through last year, so we kind of learned on the fly a lot last year, whereas, we've got the foundations from day one here with Josh. Obviously learning on the fly is not always ideal, but we picked it up pretty well last year. But I think, the fact that we've got this opportunity in front of us with Josh being here from day one, just lays the foundations for hopefully a very successful year.
Talk to me about where you're at with your recovery. We know you sustained a shoulder injury, I believe, to your right shoulder during Boomers Camp. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get on that plane as the boys went over to the Asia Cup. I'm sure you were cheering them on from home. I'm sure you rapped for your mate Owen Foxwell as well and the impact he was able to have. But talk to me about where you're at with your recovery right now.
Yeah, first and foremost, so pumped for the boys to bring home that gold medal. It was a very close game, and wasn't going to watch at 2 a.m, so I watched the game back, and just even though I knew the result, it was a nail biter, that's for sure.
Didn't stay up for it? Didn't?
I couldn't. I was just too wrecked. Just super pumped that the gold medal is coming back here, and the guys represented Australia and the Boomers extremely, extremely well. And rap for Foxy, obviously, and I think he just landed actually from memory. Just pumped to get Foxy back. Back to the question with my shoulder. Yeah, I'm very close now. We'll see for Saturday, maybe not. Definitely the Blitz, that's the plan right now. And it sucks with the timing, I guess, with the Asia Cup stuff. But the positive is I'll be ready to go for round 1, fit and firing.
Very nice.
Nothing from me. I'm just enjoying listening. Any chance that I get to stand to glove is a good time.
Fair enough. Talk to me about some of the other new guys around the Phoenix this season. DJ Mitchell back in the league. We know what he's done in years past with Brisbane, and obviously he was I think in Britain in the BBL last season with Manchester. Talk to me about what DJ's shown so far in pre-season with his club.
Yeah, obviously people know DJ from his time in Brisbane, can shoot the hell out of the ball. I think one area that he's really improved is on the defensive end, to be honest. And got to go to Japan with him for a week and get to know him a bit better. Really enjoyed my time. I've gotten along really well with DJ. DJ is a funny one. But I'm really excited to play with him after playing against him for a couple of years when he was in Brisbane. But yeah, he's another piece that's going to be really, really big for us and on cue. I'm really excited to see his growth after spending a year or two away from the NBL.
Go on.
I've actually got one. I think someone that the Phoenix fans are really excited, and NBL fans in general, is Vrenz Blyenberg. Kind of a unicorn type situation. Here he is with the ball in hand, can do absolutely anything. As thankfully he went and scored.
Right on cue.
Kind of a different type of player than what we've seen recently, or seen ever really, in the NBL. Talk to us about kind of who he is and kind of what the Phoenix fans and the NBL in general can expect out of him.
Yeah, I mean, he's long, that's for sure. You just saw it there. You can get to the rim, play slow, play fast. He's physical. I think you haven't seen that yet, but I think, obviously I've seen him at practice, and I think he can play physical. That's the way we want to play, obviously. He can do a bit of everything, obviously. He's that unicorn type guy, I guess. Like, can push and transition, can play 1 to 5. He can do everything, really. And he's someone that's really, really exciting to get to know over this last couple of weeks. And just excited to actually be out there and play with everyone, but play with him as well.
One thing that stood out to me from watching you guys practice last Friday was his passing ability. And I know you're looking forward to getting on the end of a couple of lobs from Blyenberg when you get back out there.
I don't know about lobs, that's pushing it, but I'll stick to the 3-point line. His passing ability is through the roof, obviously, and I think he's really gonna shine with his passing ability in this league, and to have guys around him that can shoot the ball and roll, and I think he's going to be a walking bucket, but a potential walking double-double every night with the way he passes the ball, even a triple-double, the way he can get out and rebound. And I'm so excited to play with him, and I'm looking forward to being on the end of hopefully a couple of his passes.
There you go. Speaking of young emerging talent, Malik Lewis back for his second year as a next star. We were just talking about him earlier, and his ability to really push in transition, put heat on the rim. We know he had the thoughts of entering the NBA draft this year and decided to withdraw his name late. He's come back for a second year in this program. What have you seen so far from him pre-season, in terms of kind of growth areas? And we were also talking about where we feel like he needs to improve from last year to this year to really kind of, improve his draft stock heading into the 2026 NBA draft. So, what are some of those things as well where you think he can really show some growth from last year to this year?
Yeah, I think obviously last year you saw he was our best defender, really. He was always, when he started, he was always guarding the opposition's best player to start the game, and he was incredibly tough at practice. I never wanted to dribble the ball against him. I think you're going to see him even improve just in that area, to be honest. But I think one thing that stood out to me in pre-season and the off-season is his jump shot. I think he could shoot the ball pretty well last year, but I've seen a massive step forward in that for him this off-season, and he's just shooting the ball with confidence, playing with confidence, and he's really putting a lot of work into the gym too, getting all his parts of his body right. And I think you're seeing that kind of the way he's attacking the rim. But I think he's just having a lot of fun out there. And when you tend to have fun on the basketball court, you tend to play well as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with another year experience under his belt.
We've got a couple of, speaking of staying on with the younger players, a couple of players that have been involved in the NBL 1 and guys that, NBL 1 fans will know. Daniel Foster out there, Patrick Ryan, Luke Rosendale, guys that aren't going to be full roster players this year. What's it like having these, young, hungry guys and players that, you've seen on the floor in NBL 1 and kind of the local fans can really get behind?
Yeah, I mean, just obviously Foster and Paddy Ryan played with each other at Keilor, and Foster was almost a walking triple-double most nights.
He was unbelievable.
We
were
really,
talking
really
about
good.
him before.
Yeah, he was really, really good. But I think people seem to forget that he's known for his defense, and he's a really, really good defender now. He could lock down a lot of the NBL's top players right now. I think he's elite down that end of the floor. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does this year. I guarantee he'll definitely get opportunities this year. Paddy Ryan, he's working his ass off to get better each and every day, and we all know what Rosie loves to do. He loves to stand on that three-point line and ping away. But no, each and every one of them, they've really impressed me this preseason, and they're just continually asking questions, trying to get better each and every day. So I'm really excited for those three to see what they can do.
Of course, Nathan Sobey in year 2, like yourself, with the club. A player who has been around this league for a long, long time. And, last season, I feel like, was a bit of a feeling out period for him in a new system. The coach obviously changed during the season. A lot was said about how he left Brisbane, but at the end of the day, he's someone who just wants to help you guys win, and you guys made a nice run to the semi-finals, went to Game 3 of the semi-finals. And this year, as you're looking to go that step further, how do you think Sobes is going to help this group, many of whom are a lot younger than him, just to really lock in and come together in the right way to build a winner?
Yeah, Sobes is obviously, he leads by example, leads with his voice. Just the way he goes about it on a daily basis. You see Ryan Q, he's willing to put his body on the line even in a preseason game. He's done that multiple times tonight. Does the same thing at practice, leads by example each and every single day, putting in the extra work, whether it's in the weight room, on the floor. He spends a lot of time on his body. The fact that he's 30, I need to get this right because he'll probably kill me, 35, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, there we go.
I've got 34 written down.
Oh, God.
But anyway.
I'm in trouble regardless. But he plays like he's a 20-year-old. The way he looks after his body, you wouldn't know he's 35, really, unless you're a fanatic, really. If someone was coming to watch that first game, you'd think he'd be really, really young because the way he moves and how agile and everything he is on the floor, he's incredible at that side. But, he's just leading by example, which is massive with this new group. Obviously, we've kept our, Aussie core from last year, but he's just built on his leadership from last year and taking another step up this year. So I'm really excited to play with him again. And, we formed a little bit of a good connection there last year as well. So looking forward to building on that as well with him.
Ooh, nice lob there from Adnam to Mawat Mag, who lays it in. It's back to an 11-point game here, 46-35 to the Phoenix. About 3.5 minutes left in this first half. We're with Angus Glover here. Glove, your good mate Geordie Hunter, you won a couple of chips together up in Sydney. You came down here last season. Last year, I feel like he was a little bit overshadowed in the front court at times by the great season that Matt Hurt had. But it's going to be a different looking front court this year. John Brown's going to come in, probably play a bulk of minutes at that 4 spot. And Geordie will be supported by Gorjok Gak at that 5 spot. What are you expecting out of Geordie? Again, another player, year 2 in this system, knows what to expect from Josh King, knows what his role is. But a guy who, again, just wants to do whatever it takes for the team to win and support his teammates. Yeah,
I think he sacrificed a lot last year, to be honest. Obviously, Matt was a top 3 candidate in the MVP voting. So, but Geordie is, as far as I'm concerned, the best roller and best screener in the league, to be honest. And, obviously, I found him a couple of times last year. I think that's just built over the time that we've played together in Sydney and even junior basketball. So it's always been fun playing with Geordie and just seeing, I guess we've kind of been with each other for basically since Under-19's World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a long time that we've played together for. Just seeing him grow as well, as a leader as well. I think he's really taken a step forward as well this year. I think he was great last year, but like I said, I think he sacrificed a lot. And I love passing to Geordie because, Geordie's going to normally try and dunk it on someone's head. But Geordie's, one incredible player. But I think what makes Geordie really special is an incredible person and takes time out of his day to really care about each and every single person at the club.
Nice hit there from DJ Mitchell. You guys have shot the ball very well from three-point range so far tonight. What are we now? 5 out of 13. That might even be 6 out of 14 after that one. It's a pretty good clip so far. And multiple guys have hit a three ball tonight. Talk to me about some of your new assistant coaches. We know Trigg sitting next to Josh King is back for another year, but Dan Ryan, a good friend of Josh King, they coached together over in Europe. I got a chance to meet him briefly on Friday as well. Funny guy, tiny guy, but I'm told a phenomenal coach. What have you made of Dan so far?
Yeah, phenomenal coach, that's for sure. He's got a lot of energy like Josh, that's for sure. But no, just I've loved working out, getting to know Coach Dan, and he's full of beans basically. But just me and him have really bonded over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, been able to do a bit more with the coaches on an individual standpoint whilst being injured. So been spending some time with him, getting to know him. He's just always up for a laugh, which is great. I like to call him the strongest coach in the gym. He works incredibly hard in the gym every time I see him in there. So
pound for pound or overall?
I'll go pound for pound. I don't know, to be honest. He would be up. It's very close, to be honest. And then obviously Gibbo's been around last year as well. Just obviously elevated into that full-time assistant coaching role this year, and he's really relishing that and really enjoying it, and he suits it. I think he's done an incredible job so far, and he's really put the work in, and once again, loving having Gibbo around, loving having all the guys around, to be honest. Those four coaches really work well together, and you can see it.
You mentioned earlier that, how good it was having the full pre-season with Josh King in his style and his kind of chance to really get his fingerprints and his DNA on this team. What should we expect differently from the Phoenix this year compared to what it was last year with a full pre-season under Josh King?
Just relentless on the defensive end for 40 minutes each and every game. I think there's no denying it. We probably, when Josh came in, we got on that little run, and I think we might have got a little bit too confident looking back on it, and maybe relaxed a bit on the defensive end. We thought our offense could just take care of it, and some nights that would have worked. But I think the fact that we're all bought in on the defensive end, I think you're going to see no one really, everyone's going to ask for subs if required. I think that's that kind of culture that we're trying to do here. So I think we're building something really, really special here, and everyone's really enjoying playing under Josh.
And just lastly, Glove, before we let you go, and I'm conscious, I do want to make sure you get down to join the boys in the locker room half time. It is a long way down from our
a lot of steps.
Commentary position. I don't blame you.
That's why I got the water for you.
Thank you.
Year 2 for you in this Phoenix system. We know you got back to having fun playing basketball again last season. We won't talk about the year before, but what can we expect out of Angus Glover this year that was different to last year as your game continues to evolve and mature? And, aside from just the amazing three-point shooting and, getting out in transition and running, what else is kind of going to evolve from your game, you think, this year that people may not expect to see?
I think, I guess the way I get guarded a little bit from the three-point line, I'm trying to... I could get downhill last year, but I probably didn't get to that mid-range. I'm trying to be a 3-level scorer if I can, be that aggressive guy at all times. And, I've kind of been given that green light to go do that. And, just continue to grow my game that way. But I think defensively, keep being that energizer guy. I like putting my hand up for the best. Please get up here. That's so bad. Just that kind of stuff. But I think also a big step that I'm trying to put forward in the NBL is rebounding. There was times last year where I would rebound very well, and patches throughout the year where I wouldn't really rebound at all. And I want to make that a consistent theme, I want to make that a consistent theme this year going forward, and hopefully that just helps the team win. That's the main thing right now. I think everyone's so bought into sacrificing something for the group that it doesn't matter if it's minutes, putting your body on, whatever it is. I'll do whatever it is to sacrifice for the greater good for the team, and I think everyone else is in the same boat, to be honest. Everyone just wants to do what they can to win.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you back on court, hopefully next week, if not this Saturday, but definitely hopefully back at the Blitz up in Canberra. And your boys are looking pretty good out there tonight, and I'm liking what I'm seeing out of some of these new guys as well. So really appreciate you stopping by for a chat, Glove, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
That was Angus Glover joining us for the second quarter. Really appreciate him making the time and the trek upstairs here to join us for that second quarter. Is a long way up here at the State Basketball Centre, and his team's sitting pretty here at half-time, up 58-39 against the visiting Cairns Taipans. And again, the score doesn't matter so much, but it's the way they're playing, the way they're moving the ball, sharing the ball, the way they're shooting the ball, the way they're protecting the rim down the other end. There's been some really impressive plays from a lot of people. And again, I think you don't read too much into the results out of these games, but for the coaching staff, they're going to take a lot out of what they've seen so far tonight from different perspectives. But there'll be more great action in the second half. Anything else, Jamie?
No, that's all from me.
Well, we might take a break for a little while, and we'll jump back on with you guys just a couple minutes before the third quarter tips off.
Halftime here at the State Basketball Centre. It's a 19-point lead to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, 58-39 over the Cairns Taipans. Both of these teams' first chance at pre-season basketball in the lead up to NBL26. Jamie Hamilton and Tom Hirsch here with you. And Tom, you're mulling over that stat sheet. What stands out to you?
Well, one of the big things that stands out to me is the way the Phoenix shot the three ball in the first half. 7 of 15 through the first half, just shy of 47%, which is a really nice clip, especially in preseason when you're not expecting players to be in the best form. By contrast, the Cairns Taipans, 1 out of 10. It's not great. But again, preseason, number of guys vying for spots here, not reflective of what they'll be like in the season. The other thing that stands out to me is the different impacts that some of the players made, especially on the Phoenix side. You know, Hunter Maldonado, 11 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, had a steal as well. 10 points, 3 boards for DJ Mitchell in his first action, and 3 block shots for Geordie Hunter. Great rim protection that we saw there in that first half. And of course, I talked up Frens Bleinberg's passing a lot in that first half. Had just the 1 assist so far, so not sure how much more we'll see him in the second half, but maybe he can get 1 or 2 more assists here before he calls it a night. And on the Cairns Taipan side, the defense of Mawot Mag was really impressive as well. 2 blocks and 2 steals in that first half. That young man to go with his 11 points, and 9 points for Cody Statman, who we've seen be really aggressive so far tonight. Obviously, he's been around NBL environments for a couple of years now. Second year with the Taipans in their system, and getting a good chance to play a nice chunk of minutes here tonight and making the most of it.
So the Phoenix have the ball to start this third term. Still rolling with a couple of the big guns. Here's Lewis. We talked about how he needed to add that 3 to his arsenal.
And that's now 8 of 16 for the Phoenix on the night. 50%. Shooting exceptionally well.
It's not bad.
Gorjok, Gak and Lewis have joined the starting group for this second half.
Tough finish there.
Placing Hunter and a Ketchalier.
Gak loses the handle. It's going to stay with the Phoenix, much to the chagrin of Adam Ford on that sideline. He's rolled the sleeves up now. It's started to heat up a little bit. Here's Maldonado looking to go to work. Puts up the 3, draws the whistle.
It's going to be on young Mawot Mag.
And when we were talking to Angus Glover, the clear main message, at least that I took out of it, was how important defense is for this Phoenix team. And you know, we knew that about Josh King. We mention it every time we talk about the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. And it was so clear, even during that second quarter. We didn't really focus on the action that was on the floor, but 39 points at halftime, all they've given up, with not great shooting stats. That must be a big tick for Josh King so far in this game. Yeah,
and again, you know, caveat that it's preseason and the Cairns Taipans are missing a number of their fully rostered players, so it's not really reflective of what they'll look like. But yeah, you've got to be really happy with the effort that you've seen on the defensive end from the Phoenix if you're Josh King so far. It is a big point of emphasis. It was ever since Simon Mitchell became the GM of basketball operations. I mean, the appointment of Mike Kelly was with a better defensive focus in mind. And Josh King's kind of taken that and taken it to a whole nother level as well in the way they've constructed this roster, both Simon and Josh this offseason. As we spoke earlier in the first half, really wanting to be long at every position, versatile at every position, switchable, out on the wings. And that's disruptive to other teams. It's really hard to find your advantages when you're facing that kind of length and switchability.
So the foul called. It's Phoenix ball on the baseline. It's pretty handy when you've got a 200-centimetre person that can play point guard out there as part of your lineup as well.
He's more than 200 centimetres. Bleinberg, 6'10".
208, excuse me. How dare I rob him of 10 centimetres.
He is long, he is tall.
And I was standing down there on the court before as the ball goes straight into him, and he Goes to work in the post, but it's no good.
Thought he got fouled there.
He's taller in person, and that's saying something. He's just such a long human. This Galloway.
Great touch pass there from AHT out to Galloway, and Galloway hits his second triple of the night.
Margin back to 17. Sobey, 2 steps behind 3 is no good.
Got a foul off the ball here. And that's gone.
It's on Kyron Galloway, so the ball's going to stay with the Phoenix once again.
Ketchalier back into the game. He'll replace Gorjok Gak.
And this is a good chance to see what the Phoenix can do. You know, getting the ball in their own front court, how do they go to work? As Sobey, that's a
bailed
classic.
Out. He was bailed out there.
He was caught in the air. He's pretty far away, but
and that foul was on Mag. That's his second, I believe. No, it was his. Oh, sorry, that's his fourth. My mistake.
Yeah, that's his.
He'll take a seat.
That's his third this quarter, I believe. Doing his Dave Barlow impression, getting fouled out in one quarter.
That's his fourth this quarter. He had no fouls at halftime. He's picked up 4 fouls in 1:46 seconds.
Something about orange jerseys on this court in the
That's
third quarter.
why I thought it was his second. I remember getting the first early into this third period as Sobey knocks down the free throws. So Lloyd McVeigh, another man who was in foul trouble in the first half with 3 of his own, checks back in.
Oh, Sobey being disruptive. That was another thing that Angus Glover was talking about, just how disruptive and how uncomfortable Sobey can make your life in the back quarters. Maldonado not letting anything come easy here for Adnam. McVeigh with the mid-range shot, no good. Lewis pulls down a tough board. Inside to Aaliyah.
He's got the smallest Statman on him, and he goes to work, and nice rolling hook there from a Ketchalier. First year in the heartland for Aaliyah, was with Melbourne United last season. Spends his off seasons with the Mount Gambier Pioneers in the NBL1 South.
19 points, 9 rebounds for the Pioneers. Adnam draws the whistle, gets the 3 to go.
Aaliyah also made the first team for the South Conference at the awards night last Friday night. Another strong off season for him, and he'll have his chances this season as a backup big. It might be Gorjok Gak some nights and him some other nights. He might play some 4 as well, depending on what they get out of John Brown and Bleinberg at that position, and DJ Mitchell as well. But he gives them some versatility and some depth up front.
Played a pretty big part for Melbourne United in that final series. Was playing some solid defense in minutes, in stretches, excuse me. Another offensive rebound and blocked by Galloway. Ball stays with the Phoenix. 11 seconds on the shot clock.
Of course, Kyron's younger brother, Jalen Galloway, took home MVP honours at the FIBA Asia Cup.
Boy, did he deserve them.
He had an outstanding tournament.
Part of that All-Star 5 as well, along with Jack McVeigh, who's going to be joining this Cairns team. I'm excited to see what, as Aaliyah gets the finish.
That was a beautiful pass there from Nathan Sobey, right on the money for Aaliyah to catch it in stride on his way to the basket, and he's got a chance at an and one here as Jed Richardson will check back in, replacing Kyron Galloway, just picked up his 3rd personal.
Really excited to see Jack McVeigh with this Cairns team, that this young core with a couple of really skilled vets.
I think the combination of McVeigh with Sam Wardenberg up front as well is going to be a really interesting one, and not one we've really seen much of in the NBL in terms of 2 players with such versatility offensively. Both can stretch the floor, both can put it on the hole, both can work inside the paint. It's a beautiful dump off there from Adnam to Alex Higgin-Titcher for a lovely 2-handed flush. Adams made some really nice passes tonight. No surprise to anyone.
He's found a nice role here with the Cairns Taipans.
Yeah.
Has Kyle Adnam. One of those skilled vets that I talk about as another 3 goes down.
Malik Lewis again, and we talked about that in the first half, getting more consistency on that 3 ball. He's knocked down 2 already in this third period.
But Adnam, look, he's not going to get this a whole bunch of minutes, or as many minutes as we're seeing from him tonight during the NBL season, but a good vet as Sobey, no good on that 3 from the 45. But just a really solid leader. And Sobey draws another whistle, and that's bonus free throws for Sobey.
A little hold there against Sobey.
But you mentioned the partnership with McVeigh and Wardenberg, and just, I think one thing that's going to be really exciting is just how much confidence they come into this season with. Those off-season stints that they both had. Wardenberg playing in Puerto Rico, playing a whole bunch of games, a whole bunch of minutes, and having a well-earned rest right now. What was something like...
He played 46 games in Puerto Rico, starting all, and played 35 minutes a game over there. It's just insane, and had a really strong showing too. 17 points, 7.5 rebounds a game, shot over 50% from the field, 37% from 3. So those reps are going to be invaluable for him. He's going to come into the Blitz next weekend in great form.
And then, of course, McVeigh, if there wasn't a little guy named Jalen Galloway that played so well, he probably would have been the MVP with how well he was shooting the ball and leading. That shot goes down.
And McVeigh hasn't really stopped playing all year. He went straight from the NBA and G League season into Summer League with the Atlanta Hawks and then into Boomers Camp, Asia Cup, and he's going to come straight back into preseason now. So, you know, he may be limited a little bit in his minutes at the Blitz just to ease him in before the season starts next month. But, you know, he's certainly someone who is just going to continue to flourish no matter what system he's in. We've seen that time and again. And you know, one thing Adam Ford knows how to do is maximize the talent at his disposal, and having someone like a Jack McVeigh.
Ooh! Lear throws down the lob.
Beautiful lob from Maldonado there. Yeah, for 40 to have someone with the talent of Jack McVeigh at his disposal is just a real bonus. And an exciting time for Cairns Taipans fans.
It was only Bleinberg. Well, the late whistle comes.
It was Lear that got him, though, when he put his hand up. Bleinberg got him clean. Lear got him down low. Bleinberg questioning the call.
And I think he's just being told, hey, if you launch that ball from half court in a regular season game, you are absolutely getting a tech foul.
Fair.
I'm surprised he didn't get called for that one there. We did see one last night. Who knows? As Cody Statman goes to the line. Now I can say it. Cody Statman, last game of the regular season in the NBL 1 with Cairns, 48 points and 10 rebounds.
Solid.
That's good numbers.
Can play.
Average 25 and 8 a night along with 2 steals. So well known in the NBL community and with the Cairns community. Zappos thrown out of bounds by Richardson. And a timeout called by Adam Ford. The margin is at 21 right now. 75 plays 54. We're exactly halfway through this third quarter.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the other players who will be joining the Cairns Taipans lineup. We obviously talked about Jack McVeigh. We talked about Sam Wardenberg. Rain Smith we mentioned a little bit earlier. Obviously a young man who's coming out of college with Louisville, signed a 2-year deal with the Taipans. 6'2" shooting guard. We saw what he was about a little bit of the Asia Cup, where he shot very well, made 10 threes across 5 games that he played in. 9 points per game, 3 rebounds as well off the guard. He had 18 against Lebanon. He had 15 against Qatar. As a senior at Louisville, started 18 of 31 games, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3.5 made threes per game at a 38% clip. And he shot 51 out of 54 on free throws for the season, 94%. So that young man can shoot. And with guys like Wardenberg and McVeigh. We haven't even gone to their imports yet. Rain Smith is going to get a lot of open shots this season.
He's someone that I cannot wait to see. He fits so perfectly in this Cairns team. He's kind of the quintessential Adam Ford type player, the type that Fordy really looks for. He just runs. He will play some hard defense. And if he even has a sniff of space, he's going to let that thing fly, and it's going to go in more often than not. That's a lovely take to the ring. It's no good, though, for Maldonado. Oh, long hands.
Good hands by Mitchell there, and came off the foot of Dennis. So the ball will go back to the Phoenix. Let's get into some of the Cairns Taipans imports now. The point guard, Ashton Hagen's a young man who's 26 years old, played his college ball at Kentucky, has 21 games of NBA experience under his belt. He had played a couple of games in the 2021 season with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then 19 games with the Portland Trailblazers in the 23-24 season. He played 16 minutes a game that season, averaged 4 points and 3 assists, 2.5 rebounds. So he did play a fair bit that season. So he comes in with some good experience. Played in China last year for the Zhanjing Flying Tigers in the CBA.
Legendary.
And fair to say, struggled with his shooting a bit. Did average 8 points and 7 assists a game. Nearly 2 steals a game as well, so a dog on the ball, but shot just 28% from three-point range and just 61% from the free throw line. But he's a better shooter than that, and I think he'll be a really nice piece with all those offensive weapons we just spoke about at his disposal to pass the ball to. Another one, of course, is Admiral Schofield, who's a 28-year-old wing, 6'5" and strong body, 109 kilos, 241 pounds. He was the 42nd pick in the 2019 NBA draft by the Philadelphia 76ers. Has 131 regular season games of NBA experience under his belt, mostly with the Orlando Magic. Spent last year...
Mitchell banks in the three.
Schofield spent last year in France with Asvel. He left there in November.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was going to come to you about. Having not played for...
He hasn't played for a while.
The better part of a year.
Yeah, so again, it might take him some time to get into shape, but certainly a talented player is Schofield.
Lovely take to the ring.
You don't play over 100 games in the NBA unless you've got talent. So he'll be a nice piece, and at 28 years of age, certainly in his prime years of his career, and a big body to have there on the wing to support the likes of McVeigh and Wardenberg up front. And then, of course, the recent signing of Marcus Lee as their third import and their backup five-man, and we know what Marcus Lee's about. He was a champion with the Tasmania Jack Jumpers 2 years ago. He was with the Melbourne Tigers last year in the NBL finals, the team that lost to the Illawarra Hawks in 5 games. Last year he played at 18 minutes a game, 7.6 rebounds, 1.6 blocks per game.
Oh, lovely attack at the ring from Higgins-Titcher.
62.5% from the field for Marcus Lee. The only blemish in his game was his free throw shooting. He was had a 50% last year on the season, which was down for even him. Played 12 games in the off-season in Poland as well. But again, just a reliable piece for the end of Fordy's bench to play backup 5-man minutes. You know what you're going to get. He can come in and play a role for 15 to 20 minutes a night, give Wardenberg a spell, allow them to play Wardenberg as a 4 at times as well if they need to. And along with McVeigh and Kyron Galloway, that's a nice front line for this Cairns team to support some of the new talent they have out there on the wings and in the backcourt as well. So some really nice recruiting from Adam Ford and the Cairns Taipans this offseason. And they've built a really solid roster, I think. It's not only going to be fun to watch, but they're going to be super competitive. For a team that won just 8 games last year and finished in last place, they're certainly going to be, if not making a push for that top 4, they'll certainly be in that play-in race, no doubt.
Higgins-Titcher thinks about the look. I'm going to pull it out with 4 seconds left. Adam from half court gets it to go.
And one thing about Kyle Adam, he knows this gym very well. He knows these rims. He's a Heartland junior. He's obviously spent a number of years at the Phoenix, played a number of games on this court in pre-season and regular season action. Just a beautiful looking stroke from Adnam as always.
Higgins-Titcher just called for the foul. Of course, Kyle Adnam from just down the road in Kilsyth Junior. So you speak about this Cairns roster and how they went from having 5 players to 12 players in the space of one social media post.
Just about.
How do you... And you said, you talk about being in that playoff, play-in kind of contention. As Jason Cadee tweeted the other day, this has to be the closest kind of race. There's no clear number one. There's no clear kind of bottom of the barrel. Is this... You've been around a little bit longer than I have on this earth. And I feel like we say it every year. Is this the closest race, going into the start of a season that you've seen? It has to be thereabouts, at least.
You never really know, but on paper it certainly appears to be that way because a number of teams have retooled this season. You came into last season, nice finish there by AHT with the left hand, by the way, but you came into last season and everyone was talking up the City Kings roster.
Yep. The
clear championship favourites, Melbourne United right behind them, and it didn't obviously work out that way for the Kings. United had a really strong showing, came really close to a championship again, but didn't get the chocolates. But you look at this season and, every team has kind of retooled. Even starting up north with the Brisbane Bullets, the Taipans, Sydney's got a few new players, obviously. The Hawks have retooled some of their front court positions and some of their import positions. The Breakers...
JaVale McGee as well. That's a pretty big one.
That's a front court position, yep. Yep. Jonah Bolden going there as well is exciting for them. You talk about what New Zealand has done with their roster, and obviously they've brought back PJC as the one of the main pieces under Pateri Koppinen, but they've added some new pieces there as well. And then obviously the big headline, aside from the splash that Cairns made, is what the Adelaide 36ers have done. And again, we've seen Adelaide make a splash on paper before, but this year seems different to me.
Yeah.
Between obviously the Bryce Cotton signing, but then bringing the imports that they've brought in. I was listening on the way here to Pete Hawley's chat with Zylan Cheatham from a couple of days ago, and his second foray into the NBL after a year away, and he's just excited to play with some of these guys. You got DJ and Isaac Humphries there, obviously. I'm definitely forgetting someone that I'm just blanking on at the moment.
Montrezl
Harrell. Back again for a second season. So, look at those 3 imports. When you call Zylan Cheatham I don't want to disrespect the man. Oh, Malik Lewis with a beautiful...
Timed that to
beautiful block. We'll just see how this play plays out, and I'll come back to that point in a moment.
Shot clock, game clock, virtually in sync.
Austin Shelley thought it was a goaltend, but it wasn't. AHT is going to break away
pass. Here. Mitchell.
Sloppy foul.
That was the foul, and a little bit out of control.
As I was saying, I don't want to disrespect anyone, but, you kind of call Cheatham the lowest profile of their 3 imports just on the names. Bryce Cotton obviously is Bryce Cotton, and Harrell with all of his years of NBA experience is a big name. But Cheatham was a super good player
100%.
With the Breakers that year before he got injured. Really versatile as well, and he's looking forward to playing with this Adelaide group. He's looking forward to how he can help them on both ends of the floor. And one thing he loves to do is play make. And that's going to be really important for that team because you've got scorers all over the floor between Cotton, Vasiljevic, Humphries can score, obviously. Harrell, obviously, such a threat on the interior and in transition. It's an exciting time for the Adelaide 36ers. Mike Wells back for his second year as well. And again, another one who's, got a full preseason under his belt, had input into the roster this time as opposed to taking it over as... We'll just see how this quarter plays out here.
Lobs up for Gak. Hangs it down. Might have got blocked by the ring. Adnam from 3-quarter court. That's well short. And as we go into 3-quarter time, it's an 18-point lead. 83 plays 65.
So the Taipans win that quarter by 1 point. It's been some entertaining basketball here again. Pre-season, never know quite what you're going to get, especially with the players at the disposal of the Cairns Taipans. But they've performed well and had some really nice moments. So, yeah, a number of teams have retooled, and we haven't even got to the West and the Perth Wildcats, who enter a new era, the post-Bryce Cotton era. You know, really building around Christian Doolittle as their main import, but brought some nice pieces in around him. And, you know, obviously the big headline of Joe Luala-Chul Jr. signing there as a marquee player to man that 5 spot, which was a position of need for them. And then some of the veterans they're putting around, like Sunday Detch returning to Perth after all these years. Lat Mayen also joining the Perth Wildcats. Dylan Windler back for a second season. The evolution of Elijah Pepper and what he's been doing in the NBL1 off-season. The numbers he's been putting up. Dave Aquera, who I think will continue to grow and play a bigger role. So, again, a lot to like about what the Perth Wildcats have done this off-season. And, you know, Christian Doolittle and Joe Luala-Chul Jr. could be one of the best front courts in the league this season. But again, you could say that about a lot of teams. So, you know, Melbourne United has a completely different looking roster to what they've had last season with some of the players that have moved on in the likes of Jack White and Delhi especially. You know, Ian Clark as well, who was there the previous 2 years. So, it's going to be interesting just to see what these teams are about. We'll get a little bit of a read out of some of these preseason games. We'll get much more of a read out of the Blitz when they've got their full rosters at their disposal. A lot of the imports are still to arrive. And then we'll start to get a sense as we head into September ahead of the season starting around the middle of next month.
Tell you what, I cannot wait for Saturday night when Melbourne United come here to the State Basketball Centre in another preseason game. Obviously, we're not going to see either team at 100%, either team at full strength, but just our first chance to really get a look at, like you said, another one of these retooled teams. Because Melbourne United playing on Thursday night out at Casey Stadium against
these Cairns Taipans.
These Cairns Taipans, but not 100% sure if tickets are still available for that. I know a lot of people want to go watch these preseason games.
I don't think there were many left last I heard, but there might still be a handful. So if you want to get a chance to get your first look at Melbourne United, then get your tickets and get down to Casey.
And I dare say it's going to be a big one on Saturday night.
It is. There are not many left for this game either, from what I was told pre-game.
Do they have a different name for the preseason throwdown? Is it the square up or something?
I don't know.
Gack. No good off the glass. It's not the throw up, I know that. That was bad.
Not touching that one.
That was bad. Adnam. No good that time. Higgins-Titcher fighting, but lost it.
I'm enjoying the battle between Malik Lewis and Kyron Galloway at times. As Rosendale can't connect on that one.
He knows a thing or two about these rings as well. The soft rings at the State Basketball Centre. Higgins-Titcher. That one's hard off the rims that time. Lewis. That's a deep three. Hand in his face. Didn't matter one bit. That's a tick in the box of that three-point shot for this game.
The third triple of the second half for Malik Lewis.
He walked into that one with a whole bunch of confidence.
3 out of 4 overall, so 9 of his 11 points coming from long range.
Galloway's going to head to the bench. Richardson back in. And Austin Shelley in, getting another run.
And there's the length of Malik Lewis bothering that shot.
Extra passes by the Phoenix. Picked off by Richardson. And then picked right back off again by Rosendale.
Pat Ryan into the game for the first time and gets his first bucket right away, wearing number 16. Young man who's in contention for a development player spot on the Phoenix roster. Played some games with the Keilor Thunder after coming back from college.
Menlo College.
Menlo College in California, a D2 school.
Pull it out and reset. Adnam, 4 on the shot clock. Steps back. Left that 3 short, but offensive rebound. And It is going to stay with the Taipans.
Work there from young Jed Richardson to keep that one alive. And looks like we're going to have a timeout here for the Cairns Taipans. Adam Ford probably wants to draw up a sideline out of bounds play.
An interesting mix of contract and potential contracted players here for the Taipans. I can't imagine they would have... Well, they've never been on the floor before officially until today, but it must be tough, I guess, is the word I would use to describe a situation like this for Adam Ford, when you've got kind of, or you've got literally half of your squad here and half of your squad not yet available, to draw up plays and to kind of try and build that connection when the majority of these guys aren't going to take the floor during the season.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what preseason's for, and you know the way the Taipans run things, you know, and you know, trying to build out some of those training player spots and maybe an NRP spot. You know, this is a good opportunity for him to get a look at these guys in a different setting, in a real game-like setting, and see who responds, see who can make plays, see who can handle the pressure at this stepped-up level from potentially what they're used to in the NBL1 or having played at college. So Fordy probably relishes these opportunities, to be honest. And yes, I'm sure he'd love to have all his guys here and be running all his plays early, but there's time for that. He can build up to that, but he loves developing young guys. It's one of the things he's most passionate about as a coach, and this is another great opportunity for him to do just that.
Aggressive take, and 2 free throws coming. Cody Statman heading to the line. We spoke about the players that are coming in for the Taipans this year, but some of the players that are coming out, as we see our first look at Kwani for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. But some of the guys out for the Cairns Taipans, Deshaun Taylor, Taron Armstrong, who's of course gone to Golden State, Tanner Groves, Pedro Bradshaw, Rob Edwards, and Akolda Gak, who's heading over to the States as well.
Exhibit
be
10,
in the States now.
Exhibit 10 with the Wizards. Chance for him to make that roster via training camp. Great opportunity for that young man.
Oh, the pressure comes and Adnam wins out. Smart play, drawing the whistle there for Mawat Mag. Pair of free throws coming his way.
He's 40, coaching one of those young players right now. Pulls Jed Richardson aside and gives him a little extra instruction.
And how proud would Adam Ford be that 2 of his guys from last year are now going to be wearing NBA jerseys in this upcoming season? That has to be just the greatest feeling.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a track record of developing players, and you know, and sometimes these players use playing for the Taipans as a stepping stone to bigger opportunities. You look at what he did with Keanu Pinder a few years ago, you know, and he went on to earn a much bigger payday with the Perth Wildcats. And, you know, what Taron Armstrong has done, and it's been remarkable, and a great opportunity ahead of him to realise his NBA dream on a more permanent basis than just a two-way deal last season, where he obviously spent the bulk of that time in Santa Cruz with their G League affiliate. But we saw Taron Armstrong play a feature role for the Warriors at Summer League, the starting point guard, alongside Alex Tui. And they're really excited about what Taron Armstrong gives them. He's a big-bodied guard. He's long. He's versatile. He's a good athlete, and he's a smart kid with a high IQ.
Just beats the buzzer, does Mag. No good. Higgins-Titcher. What a game, what a performance Higgins-Titcher has had in this game.
He's an exciting young talent, I have to say. He really is, and he's kind of, you know, he's one of those players who kind of came out of nowhere. He made the team last year through their open tryout process, you know, and went on to play a nice role for them last season. 6 points, 4 rebounds, nearly a block per game across 18 games. He started 7 games for 40 in the end, 48% from the field.
He's just, you know, heart, hustle, and
spends his off-season playing 3x3 for the Kangaroos. Went to the FIBA Champions Cup, the FIBA Asia Cup, the FIBA World Cup all this year. He's been a busy young man. And the more you play, the better you get it, especially at that young age. He's still what? He's 25 years old. He's in the second year of his deal with the Taipans. He's only going to continue to improve the more he plays at this level. But certainly a name to watch in NBL26.
Aaliyah blocked in the end. Here's Higgins-Titcher. Just didn't fully get possession as Kwani with the spin. Rosendale with a nice easy two. And an interesting situation here with Luke Rosendale, a guy who was a development player for the last couple of seasons with the Phoenix and has aged out of that contract eligibility. But the Phoenix still have I believe it's one.
They do. They have one roster spot open for a local, and they are looking for a guard. And so, read into that what you will. Luke Rosendale does not have a contract as yet, but certainly one of the players that Josh King is looking at for that spot.
Didn't get to keep his jersey number either.
No.
Ruined both of our pre-game stats, or notes, as that foul gets called on Higgins-Titcher. But he's a guy that Josh King is familiar with from his last season and puts up numbers at NBL1 level, that's for sure. He's got a great spot-up shot. He's a lefty. Now I sound like I'm rooting for him.
Why not?
He's a nice guy as well. There's a good take to the ring, and a pair of free throws coming here for Daniel Foster.
You saw the strength of Foster there, his ability to penetrate and get into the paint. Lockie Barker checks back in.
Lockie Barker is one that I absolutely am rooting for. I feel like he does deserve a spot on an NBL roster. He's been around a little bit. He's been a replacement player for, I believe it's United, Phoenix, and
the JJs.
And the Jack Jumpers.
Yep, as a replacement player the last 2 years with the JJs.
18.5 points for the Northwest Tassie Thunder in the NBL1, and he's just drawn a whistle.
You see the defensive pressure there from Daniel Foster, though. That's what Angus Glover was telling us about earlier. He's primarily a defense-first kind of player, and obviously fouled on that occasion, but it was really tough for Barker to try and get around him and advance the ball up the floor. His bonus free throws here for the Snakes. Barker with a rare miss. Lockie Barker, 90.5% from the free throw line in the NBL1 South this year with the Northwest Tasmania Thunder.
Full court pressure here by the Taipans, beaten well easy in the end. Ellis Bigger.
Yeah, his first action of the night, I believe.
He is. Was contracted to the Melbourne Tigers for the NBL1 South season. Didn't end up taking the floor.
Due to a broken foot, required surgery. As Kwani, the championship player with the Illawarra Hawks, knocks down the corner three.
Averages 2 made threes a game in the NBL1 North with the Townsville Heat. Adnam. No look behind the head pass.
Getting fancy for us, Kyle, and Galloway knocks it down.
That one's going on the socials, that's for sure.
Adnam with his 5th dime of the game.
Just reminding anyone who may have perhaps forgot that he's pretty good at this whole basketball thing. Got married in the off-season as well. Did Kyle Adnam.
Did indeed.
Congratulations. Here he is providing some defensive pressure, forcing the... No, somehow ends up with Ellis Bigger. And he left that shot a little bit off. And that's off the foot. And
the length of Daniel Foster bothers his opponents.
What was it?
6'6".
And Glover said he was a walking triple-double.
Yeah. And Adnam will take a seat for the final time, no doubt, as Austin Shelley checks back into the game.
Here he is. Finds Galloway. Lets the defender go by. Tries to throw down the hammer. Was impeded illegally, says referee Elliot Green. Ellis Bigger called for that foul.
Galloway's made 3 triples tonight for his 9 points. First trip to the free throw line.
Last year with the Taipans, with the Taipans, excuse me, career highs in minutes, points, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and your favourite, the stocks.
Love the
The
stocks.
combined steals and blocks. So thriving up in the far north with Adam Ford. And showing that he's still got a bit to prove.
Foster took a hit from AHT. No foul call, but it did come off Higgins Titcher last, and the ball will stay with the Phoenix. 14 on the shot clock. Tom Hirsch and Jamie Hamilton here with you from the State Basketball Centre in Melbourne's heartland, Wantirna South.
Beautiful part of the world. Sloppy turnover, but it's Higgins Titcher once again wreaking some havoc. Catch a lead, bringing the intensity. Barker all the way to the ring, high off the glass.
Tough finish there from Lockie. Margin back to 16. Of course, the score doesn't really matter tonight, but it's been a good fight from the Taipans here in this second half. They trail by 19 at half time, 18 at three-quarter time. So they've hung around with the Phoenix in this second half.
I was going to say they've tied.
Blocked by Higgins Titcher. Another great defensive play.
He's come up a little bit short as well. Statman, a little bit out of control. But they've tied the second half. So, and for two teams who are taking two very different, things out of this game and out of this little preseason series, I guess you call it, against the Phoenix and Melbourne United, is lovely take from Foster. His stocks are certainly rising. But yeah, two teams who are taking very different things out of this week before the Blitz. So you're right, the scoreboard, almost irrelevant in a situation like this, but they can have it in their mind that before that last play, they tied this second half. They were hanging around with a team who's looking very strong to start this preseason.
They have tied the second half. They're still down by 19. Down by 19 at half time. So you're exactly right, on the money. Pat Ryan just checked back into the game for Daniel Foster, and a string of Taipans in. Galloway, Higgins, Titcher and Statman taking a seat, and I dare say their night is done here. Shelley with a nice feed to Richardson, and he draws the foul on Ellis Bigger.
No, that's gone on to catch a Lear, actually.
Oh, well, Lear doesn't really understand that one, and I saw it a little differently too, but again, we're up here and the refs are down there.
We are pretty far away, I will be honest. Jed Richardson, 21 years old. Plays with the Northside Wizards, where he averages 11 points, 7.5 boards. Spent a bit of time in the Brisbane Bullets academy system as well, so...
Did indeed. And he very young still at just 21. He goes 1 out of 2 there. He doubled his scoring and his rebounding average from 2024 to 2025 in NBL1 action, so that's showing some growth right there.
And we see that the bigs usually... That ball's just got a little bit too much mustard on it.
Lear just overthrew that one to Kwani and put his hand up to apologise to his teammate.
And as a former big, I can't say that I stopped growing when I was 12.
Right.
Unfortunately. But at what age do you think is when you reach your peak or your kind of prime? Because it tends to be a bit older compared to the guards and the wings, as Bigger comes up with another block.
Yeah, I mean, as a high-level professional like these guys are, you're not really hitting your prime till your mid to late 20s, to be honest. You're still figuring things out. So Jed Richardson has a long way to go in that regard at just 21 years of age. And this is, his first foray into playing at this level. So it'll be better for the experience.
Just saying I'm in my prime as a mid to late 20-year-old.
Absolutely. I'm certainly well past my prime.
Akechalier at the line. He's
From a playing perspective.
not in the looks department. You're still fine with that.
I'll take that. Thank you.
Akechalier, who's
Not sure my wife would agree, but I'll take it.
no good on that second free throw. We'll move on from that one. Akechalier's going to head to the bench.
It's a nice hand from the Heartland faithful. DJ Mitchell back into the game.
16 points for Akechalier. 7 boards as well. 8 rebounds, excuse me. Nice little handy stat line for him as pressure comes for Rosendale. Bigger. Lovely attack at the ring.
Really
Someone who
nice.
hasn't played organised basketball.
Yeah, you saw him miss his first couple of attempts. That was probably just a touch thing, but a really nice, patient drive there from Bigger and a good, strong finish off 2 feet.
And puts in some good defense there as well. Stays in front of a much quicker man. Aggressive take. Swatted off the glass.
That's what Jed Richardson's about as DJ Mitchell knocks down the 3 from the corner.
It's starting to open up now. Rosendale introduces himself to the front row. Knocks that ball out of bounds.
Minute 29 remaining. It's 102-79 to the Phoenix. First preseason hit out for both of these teams. Of course, the Cairns Taipans will travel down the road to Casey on Thursday night to meet Melbourne United, and then United will come here on Saturday night to meet the Phoenix in a preseason throwdown.
All those games live and free on NBL.com.au. Foul gets called. Barker. He knows a thing or two about drawing some contact. He's got a pair of free throws. Rosendale doesn't like the call. How many times have those two have matched up? Barker and Rosendale.
Fair few over the last few years, especially NBL 1 South level.
Yeah,
Barker, of course, spent a number of years with the Frankston Blues before moving to
Gone
the
back
Northwest
home.
Thunder last year.
Going back home to Tassie, and Rosendale with Ballarat this year.
And last year.
And last year with Bendigo a couple of years before. Tick over a minute left in this game. Cairns with some full court pressure. Rosendale wanted that look, dumps it off.
There's Richardson with another block. Really good rim protection from that young man.
186 centimetres, and he's got himself a couple of blocks. I dare say that that's wrong, and my stats are incorrect.
He's taller than that.
I think that was my
my
placeholder number.
Probably closer to like 206.
I was going to say that was my placeholder number. I've got it a few times on this list. Foul called. Pair of free throws coming once again to the Phoenix. It'll be Kwani to the line. No good on that first. Gets the second to go, margin to 23. Full court pressure by the Phoenix. Beaten easily by Statman. And then Bigger gets called for the foul.
So Lloyd McVeigh will head to the free throw line.
17 points, 6.5 boards with the West Adelaide Bearcats in the Central Conference of the NBL 1.
Played his collegiate ball at the University of Buffalo.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Oh, nearly the turnover. The pressure coming from Shelley, forcing the turnover in the end.
And McVeigh gets up with two hands.
Brother Jack, I have no doubt, will be tuning in if he's made it home yet.
I believe they've landed.
Yeah, that's what Glove said.
It depends whether they're all on the same flight or not.
McVeigh no good that time. Mitchell with the shot clock turned off. Decides he's going to pull up and drain the triple.
And he's really shot the ball well tonight from long range. That's 5 out of 7 from three-point range for DJ Mitchell. He shot 35% last season. As time expires on his first preseason game, it's a 22-point win to the Phoenix. 108-86 in this first hit out for both teams. It's a good up and down action, Jamie, that we got to see. We got a nice good look at what the Phoenix is going to be about this season. For the core of their roster here. And for the Cairns Taipans, a good hit out for some of their likely reserve players and a couple of guys still auditioning for potential roster spots, training spots, replacement player spots. But a good way to kick things off here for these two teams.
Yeah, and like we said off the top, scoreboard is irrelevant in this game. Or maybe not irrelevant, but not as impactful. Both teams coming into this one, with specific goals in mind and kind of things that they want to check off before the Blitz, let alone before the season. Do you think that both sides go out of this having achieved what they needed coming into it?
I think so. I think so for sure. Again, it's as we said at the top, and as Josh King told me, it's a chance to play against a different opposition rather than going against the same guys in practice every day. It's a chance to run some of your new sets, test out some rotations, get some rhythm, and just get some reps at playing together, which is always going to be invaluable the closer you get to the regular season. It's also a really nice chance for the fans to come out and get their first look at this Phoenix roster for this season. And those fans that turned up today would have enjoyed what they saw, and the players now getting around those fans courtside and giving some high fives and some selfies with some of those Heartland faithful. But for the Taipans, a good hit out, and some of these young guys got some invaluable reps, and they'll be better for the experience. They'll probably be better when they hit the floor on Thursday night at Casey, having been a bit battle tested, and they'll learn a lot. They'll have some video to watch and make some adjustments, and that's what preseason's all about.
Who stood out to you from either side? Maybe someone that we didn't expect, or kind of, maybe not one of the superstars. Who stood out to you from either side?
I mean, I think for the Phoenix, it's the man talking right now with the Phoenix media crew in DJ Mitchell and the way he shot the ball, but the impact that he had on both ends of the floor. His jump shot has always been a bit inconsistent, but it looked really pure tonight. 5 out of 7 from long range. He had 19 points overall, 7 boards as well, a couple of assists. He had a really nice impact in less than 20 minutes of action. So, if he can give a spark off the bench like that during the season for Josh King, that's going to really help this ball club. And then I think for the Cairns Taipans, I really like Alex Higgins-Titshow, and we spoke about his development, his journey, and I think he's just growing in confidence the more that he plays. And tonight was another good example of that, and a chance to play a feature role. He was their equal top scorer with 15 points in about 27 minutes, shot 5 of 8 from the field, got himself to the free throw line, was active on the boards. He had 4 assists as well. Just a really nice all-around game. I also like the aggression from Cody Statman, who was the other guy who had 15 points for them. He started off the game, attacking the rim, putting heat on the rim, and continued to do that. Also got himself to the free throw line a fair few times tonight, 5 out of 6 from there. So those two young men who are going to be fighting for end-of-rotation minutes in Adam Ford's team this season. Again, it's a perfect opportunity here to get some reps and show 40 what you're all about and how your game's grown during the off-season.
Well, that wraps it up for us here at the State Basketball Centre, but that is not the end of pre-season action here on NBL.com.au. Tomorrow, the Jack Jumpers and the Kings go back head-to-head from 6 p.m. down in Launceston, I believe, this time, before Thursday, Melbourne United and Cairns Taipans out at Casey Stadium, a 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern tip-off for that one. And then we're back here in the Heartland at the State Basketball Centre the first throwdown of 2026 of 2025, excuse me, that wasn't part of NBL 25. Southeast Melbourne, Phoenix, Melbourne United from 6:30 as well.
Shout out to Lockie on camera tonight. Appreciate your work. Shout out to Aaron and Leanne from the Phoenix Media team for having us. He's been Jamie Hamilton. I'm Tom Hirsch. It's been a pleasure bringing you this action tonight, and have a good night.